Hello there, my students. Today we are working on lesson 24. It's called Find the Area of a Triangle and a Perimeter. I want to remind you that area means the inside part of it. So like I have said in the past, that it's like an area rug. And if you see an area rug that says it has a 3 over on one side and an 8 on the other side, that's how many ways we can divide it, how many rows or columns. So this would be 3 because now I have 1, 2, 3. And then I would need to put 7 lines in order to make 8 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines, 1 line less than what it says because that's how we end up with that many columns. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we're doing area, this is what we're talking about. When we're doing perimeter, remember I drew the basketball rim, there's my net, and I said that the ball goes in through the rim and the rim is on the outside. That's just a shortcut of how I remember it. So today we're finding the area. So it says, you know the formulas for finding the area and the perimeter of rectangles. Well, let's go over that just to make sure. Area, and it's going to be just an A, and it's going to say equals base times height. Remember that I am trying to write with a mouse. Doesn't always work as good. So area equals base times height, and perimeter equals side 1 plus side 2 multiplied by 2 because there are 2 of them. Okay, so those are kind of what you could see if you saw the formula. Those are called formulas. Okay, the formula for finding the area of a rectangle can help you find the areas of triangles and parallelograms. Let's take a look at the problem below. Padma makes a paper space rocket for a science fair sign. She cuts out 2 right triangles that are the same shape and size for the rocket wings. What is the area of each wing? So we are talking about this triangle up here and this one down here. And what we can very quickly see is that those 2 triangles came from a rectangle. Aha! Important thing for us to remember. So let's look down here. Padma cut the triangles from a piece of paper that was 12 inches, that's where I get this 12, and 5 inches, that's where I get that 5. Now remember what I showed you up here at this top part was that I could draw lines along there if I needed to. 1, 2, 3, and 4 makes me have 5 rows now, and I could draw 11 lines here. So she cut the paper along the diagonal as shown at the right. What shape do the 2 triangles make together? Well, if I go back and take out what I just put in there of all of that stuff, let's see if that does it. Okay, take out all those lines. What we're noticing is that the 2 triangles together make a rectangle, and that's important for us to keep in the back of our mind. 2 triangles make a rectangle. So what I can really do, so right down in here, what you want to write is it makes a rectangle. Okay, so write the word rectangle, and right up there it is if you need to be able to spell it. Okay, how can you find the area of this shape? Well, I already gave you the formula up here, and it says to find the area of a rectangle, we do base times height. So down here it says, how can you find the area of a shape? Oh my goodness, I don't know what that just did. We would do base times height. Okay. Write an equation to find the area of the rectangle. Well, our base is 12, so I would write 12 times, and our height is 5, so I would write find 12 times 5 equals, and I know that that equals 60. So what is the area of the rectangle? 60. How many squares would be in here if I drew those lines again, just like I did up here? How many would be in there? There would be 60 squares. So we call it 60 square inches. So what is the area of the two triangles together? Well, the two triangles together is 60. So what is the area of each triangle? Well, we would have to take that rectangle and divide it in half. So the area of each one of those would be 30 square inches. And then it says, how do you know? Well, I know because 30 plus 30 equals 60. All right, let's look at the next page. Okay, this is a find out more page. Important for you to know. Important for you to look at. When we skip over this stuff is when we start having problems with our math. So it says you use the area of a rectangle. We just got done doing that. We said an area of a rectangle is going to be base times height. So now we can use the area of a rectangle. We can use this same thing over here to think about the area of a parallelogram like a rhombus. So what I want you to notice here is this triangle. What they're saying is if we cut that off and glue it over here, we will have a perfect square because this would no longer be here. So now we have a rectangle, not a square, a rectangle. So a parallelogram or a rhombus, when we cut this triangle off the end over here and place it over here, we now just have a rectangle. Now, we already know how to find the area of a rectangle. It's base times height. So we now know how to find the area of a rectangle, of a square. Both of those would be area or base times height. We know how to do a triangle. That would be base times height. And then when we do that, so we'll do that first, base and height, and then we divide it by 2 because there are two triangles. Now we know how to do a rhombus. It's just base times height, or a parallelogram. Parallelogram means these two lines, that one and that one, are the same. And then, well, when I have it, it's this one down here and this one. Those are parallel. I kind of took it all off up there. Wish there was a better way to clear my stuff. Clear all my scribbles, but there isn't. So, okay, to find the area of a rectangle, you use its length and its width. Did you notice that we were calling it base and height, and now they're calling it length and width? That's okay. It can be base and height, length and width. Those words are interchangeable. Means it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So for a parallelogram, you use the base and the height. The base is a side of the shape. The height is perpendicular to the base. It is not always the side of a shape. So they've given us two examples down here. Now, let's look down a little bit farther. Two triangles that are the same size in the shape can always be put together to make a rectangle or a parallelogram. Remember, I just told you that. You can't have two odd-sized triangles, so you can't have like an acute triangle and a right triangle. The triangles have to be the same size and same shape. And when you put two of them together, you're always going to have a rectangle, square, parallelogram. That's your lesson for today. Let's look at our workbook. Let's see if I can find our workbook up here. I can't, oh, there, I couldn't get it to open. Okay, so now this wants you to practice this. Find the perimeter and the area of the rectangle of this trampoline. Well, that's going to be 14.5. It's the exact same thing, but you guys, they put decimals in here because decimals is part of 5th grade. So we're going to do the same thing. Let me get my comment back here. So this one is going to be 14. Oh, let's see. Find the perimeter. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Perimeter. Perimeter means if this side is 14.5, guess what this side is? It's going to be 14.5 as well. 14.5. And if this side over here is 9, guess what this side is going to be? It's going to be 9 as well. So to find the perimeter, we add all 4 of the sides together. That's how we find the perimeter. It's like I would have to walk. So if I walked and I measured, this side would be 14.5 feet. And then I would keep on walking, and this side would be 9 feet. And then I would keep on walking. This side would be 14.5 feet. And I'd keep walking, it'd be 9 feet. So that's the perimeter. The area, that was the perimeter. The area is right here, and the area means 14.5 or 14 5/10 times 9. So I would have to do that. And I'm just going to remind you on decimals, when we multiply, we ignore the decimal until we are done, and then we put it back in. So you would multiply those together, and that shows you down here that you would get 130 5/10. Right there is our answer. So now, question number 1. How can you find the perimeter of any polygon? Any polygon. So if I had a polygon that was like this, and I told you that the sides all measured 6, how could you find that? Well, you would know that this side is 6, this side is 6, this side is 6, this side is 6. Remember, take a walk. It'd be 6 plus 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 6. That's how you could find the perimeter of any polygon. So fill out your answer to this one. Number 2, the dimensions of a rectangle are given in inches. What units are used to measure the area? Okay, so the dimensions of a rectangle, let's right here, are given in inches. So if I said this is 10 inches, and this is 3 inches. So I draw the picture so that I understand. The dimensions of a rectangle are given in inches. What units are used to measure the area? So when we find the measurement, what they're asking, what are we going to label it? And we know that 10 times 3 is 30. So this is going to be 30. And we're going to use inches. But on this one, we're going to use that little 2 that we've been learning about. That little 2, we say 30 inches squared. And that's because I could draw 30 squares in here. So that's why we call it 30 inches squared. So when it says what units are used to measure the area of the rectangle, we would put inches squared. Okay, so you have to do that one. Number 3, a rectangle has a length and a width. Write the formula. Write the formula. You don't have any numbers to solve, so we would put side 1 plus side 1 plus, and we have 2 more things that we would have to add, side 2 and side 2. How do we find the area? Base times height. You don't have to solve it. It just wants to know what's that formula. So you have to finish number 3. Number 4, in the shape at the right, each shape or each square represents 1 square unit. So that's like a rectangle where I could draw all the squares in it, but this one is an odd-shaped room. Think about like a kitchen or a bathroom and how they're sometimes different shaped. So if we were going to find the shape, the area and the perimeter of this shape, we would have to do some different things. The perimeter is not going to be the same on every side. This one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is 6. This one up here is 2. What is this one? What is this one? What is this one? What is this one? Remember how I said take a walk around the whole shape. Add them together, and what do you get for a perimeter? Then we have to count all the squares inside of it to see what we have as an area. So do that and put it in there. So number 5, a rectangular dog run has a length of 15 feet and a width of 6. First thing, jot out rectangle. And it says it has 15 by 6. And it tells us it's feet. So I want to put feet up here so I don't forget to use that. Feet. Okay? And it asks you for the perimeter and the area. So you're going to have 2 answers. Perimeter equals, and you're going to have an answer, and you're going to have area equals, and you're going to have an answer. Okay? And then I want you to do number 6 as well.